Can you hear me? I assume you can't.
Your existence is naught but ashes.
I'll turn you into corpse starch.
I'm a navigator. Face the navigator's might. I'm not accustomed to being ordered around.
If I must. If it serves your cause. This tedium is beneath me. I will not. If it serves your cause, I hear you moving no more.
Will do.
Pathetic.
Out of my way.
I bring mercy and retribution, as the tenets demand. Killing brings me no pleasure. As honor ordains, the other side awaits.
Let's get to it.
Not this scryer's job. Anything else? Ah! Will do. Was that you?
Time to throw at someone.
One step closer. I need no guidance.
As the tactical imperative dictates.
Anything else?
Here we go.
My obsession has failed me.
Running my Nerika, the desire condemns you.
If I may,
Let's make it quick.
Just designate a target. I am not your Xenos pet, monkey. I understand your intent. This tedium is beneath me. I am not your Xenos.
There is only death, yours or mine. I will leave footprints of scarlet. The shadows will see it done. As honor ordains. Trust me, death is a blessing.
Hold on.
Will do. Farewell. On it.
I will triumph. Purpose guides me. I will not stoop to this. Whispers, guide my hand. What a satisfying demise.
me. Is this your captain? I am a navigator. Try to die with grace, at least. I'm not accustomed to being ordered around.
I deal death with my hands.
I am your blade and shield. I shall not fail. My blade whispers your name. tenants demand. Let your soul be purged. The shadows will see it done.
I know what is to come.
Ruin beckons. I need no guidance. I will triumph.
My vow is to serve. The scriptural prognosis is favorable.
Isn't this a job for the serfs?
Caught by the web.
That is foolishness. Duty demands.
Yet usually this passionate face is controlled in a grimace of pain and rage. Your elucidator activates when she begins speaking in her own language. I swear on Kalina Rivenheart, Muaran, you will pay for your treachery. May Morai Hag sunder your fate and cast it away. May the blood of Eldenesh flood your throat. I don't know who you're talking about, but I promise I'll gladly help you pour the cup of suffering down their throat. Yillet closes her eyes, sucks in breath through her teeth, and quickly murmurs something. When she opens her eyes, her face is once again a mask of cool serenity. She looks at you and begins to speak, this time in low Gothic. Please excuse me, Elenthar. I allowed my turmoil in my soul to win out over my reason. A slip like that could cost me more than you can even imagine. My very soul. I must be more careful, even in the face of treachery. Who is Muaran? What treachery are you talking about? Muaran is one of the responsible for the rebellions against the ruler of Janus, but allow me to tell you everything from the beginning. We call ourselves the children of Asurian. Eldari is another name for ours. We are the echoes of the great empire that once ruled the galaxy and created new worlds. The planet that you call Janus is one such maiden world, the Lithenthan, a heaven that our ancestors made for our kin. For many millennia, only the shadows of our predecessors lived among the ruins until you humans came here. We are the heirs, and we are eternity within our rights to call the maiden world our own. However, our arrival is a tragedy, no a homecoming. Sudden sweep into her voice. We belonged to Craftword Krudarach, which fell on the border of this star region. Only the province of the merciful gods allow us to escape the fate that befell those whose souls perish amidst the stardust along with our abode. His green visor flashing with interest, Pascal carefully clarifies. Which border exactly? You don't need to know that, Iron Monkey. I am aware of your looting practices. After the calamity, the Linthayan offered my kin a sanctuary, a place of respite in the ruins of our ancestors, under the canopy of the forest created by the wisdom of our world singers, living alongside your kind, who reap the fruits of our labor with such vulgarity. Did you came to the Janus with the rest of them? No, my path brought me here later. Yearlet hesitates. By another route. It was Muaran who welcomed me here. He was one of the surviving Farseers of Krudach. He was with a handful of Asuriani who had escaped death and found the path here to destroy cradle of our kind. They were outraged when they saw how the monkey had ravaged our flourishing garden. So how your kin is connected to this planet, Abrizon. The Asuriani do not enter battle they cannot win. However, it is in our power to direct the currents so that the elements themselves wash obstacles and enemies from our path. And so it was in this case. Muaran the Farseer from Krudach, saw a future without the monkey, and we follow his lead. We simply use the monkey passions against them, the love for freedom and anarchy, the love of domination and violence. Stoking enmity between servants and rulers is easier when your targets are governed by emotion rather than reason. My kin became military advisors to the monkey who rose up against the ruler of this world. I had a different mission, to become Vicenza handler, since the rebel would be unable to get to her until both sides were sufficiently weakened. The ruler of the humans had never seen a child of Asurian before, and so she accepted the lie about the degenerate branch of monkey dwelling far from their own kind. Why did your own kind attack you? I know not the answer to that question, Yedil flows ahead. Many cycles have passed since I departed this forest and my kin. They cannot have forgotten me, can they? Why would a handful of Xenos go to war against the whole planet? You can't kill everyone. You struggle to understand the children of Assyrian, and I do not blame you for that. We are too different. Yulia says nothing for a few moments, choosing her words. Monkey walked blindly into the future. We choose the path guided by the foreseers. Kruda was the birthplace of our powerful watchers of things to come. Our leaders were selected from among their ranks, and the world was set in stone, unshakable like the universe itself. Muaran, our leader here, is one of the group. The children of Assyrian are subject to his will, and he is subject to the will of his visions. Muaran saw the Lilithan in a vision, suffering and crying out to be cleansed, and we did everything we could to rid the maiden world of the monkey. Our lives, our desires, all that is dust compared to the light of the path that Muaran has chosen for us. At least that is why my kin believe. I used to believe it too, until recently. Why are you telling me this? What's brought this scandal? Elantach, your arrival has thrown my path into disarray and lifted the veil of the troops that had been hiding from me. While I was shadowing the humans' ruler, I failed to see the signs that there was another threat looming over the Lithan besides the monkey's deeds. The threat should be familiar to you, as is to other intelligent species in the galaxy. We call it Silan Shreth, she who thirsts, goddess of chaos. Silan Thresh and She Who Thirsts are the names of Alderi gave to the chaos god Slaanesh, their ultimate enemy. Slaanesh is the god of passion, excess, and forbidden pleasures, and is known for his fickle and treacherous nature. The monkey are weak in spirits. They are susceptible to the proposition of She Who Thirsts, and in their drive to attain her poisoned gift, they perform perverse rituals in her name, rituals that require sacrifices, like the monkey who were brought to the place and never seen again. The Lithalich world spirit sense the threat and resist as much as is able. The living things that inhabit this world are becoming its world. Weapons turn against the monkey, poisonous plants, rabid beasts. These are all the balance of Lithuanian hand as she finds the coming of Salitharesh. The signs that have been revealed to me, they all indicate the presence of the corruption on this world. Tendrils of corruption may be threading through the world spirit, poison it even as we speak. But for corruption to take hold on the planet so quickly requires effort directed by the will of the another. Yearlet pauses. I believe Vicenza Wyatt is in the thrall of the will of Salatherash. As lamentable as it may be, the Imperium history knows many cases where even the most steadfast followers of the creed would turn away from his light. Governor Weird had to tap into many fonts of knowledge to turn Janus into prosperous agri-world. Perhaps one of those fonts became her undoing. Well, if she is to be fault, why didn't you kill her? There is only one crime graver than serving Salah Teresh. It is betraying the children of Asurian for her benefit. Moiran saw the path. He beheld the future. How could he not see the dark stain on his face? How could he not fail to do everything in his power to rid the Lethian of this canker? Irliet voice grows angry, more piercing. Before I rip this poison seed from the Lithuanian body, I will make Maureen answer me. Maybe Vistenza is tainted from consorting with archenemy. We'll have to find out for ourselves. Perhaps the signs I uncovered have failed to convince you. I pray to the gods that other proof, something more comprehensible to you, will emerge to sway your opinion. Syla Theresh is deceitful and cunning. She subtly penetrates the soul, offering false perfection, luring victims into her web with promises of wicked ideas. The ruler of the Monkey perhaps does not even know that his soul has been corrupted. Let's keep moving.
Powers unseen uncover my path.
Blood is my life. Death is my duty.
Let's seize the opportunity.
Messiah, grant me the wisdom to perceive. The world will bow.
None are better at searching.
Just as he ordained. I do what I must.
Embrace true power.
Just as I was taught. Just as he ordained.
This explorator is blessed with multifunctionality.
I tread a path unexplored.
State your intention.
The dead know nothing, and neither do the ignorant.
Time to leave my mark upon the
What is it? Choose your own path.
A vessel overwhelmed by corruption from beyond the veil. A sad and cautionary sight. No one deserves such a fate. Not the children of Azurion, nor your kind, Elantark.
Emotions distorted by the influence of the warp are corrosive and repulsive to behold. The arch-enemy purposely perverts the colors, making them unbearable to look at for anyone not yet steeped in corruption.
My success was inevitable.
Intriguing. Ruinous favor prevails.
He withholds his favor. Shame and dishonor. The Vizier.
A revelation was
Would he be
sent to
proud?
me.
Am I? I do what I must.
Kate, I know it's been rough for you since the meeting by the ruins. First contact leaves an impression on everyone, but when I recommend you to the commander, I never thought you wouldn't have the stomach to process the truth. Think what you want, but I'm still your friend. I don't want anything to happen to you because of your own stupidity. I saw your bags with the packs of Nutribars that our lads brought from the settlement, and if you thought no one would notice a couple of clips missing from Torban's backpack, you thought wrong. I wanted to give you a chance. Return the goods. You know every Nutribar counts these days. The stuff that grows in the forest is no longer edible, and we are in need of weapons more than ever. I can guess why you need all of this. You want to split, abandon our cause, go back home and pretend nothing happened. But I'm not writing this to appeal to your conscience. I just want to say that you are marked man now, Kurt. After meeting the higher ups, cutting and running is the worst thing you can try to do. They are watching those who've seen them. They won't let you leave. Let's talk, just talk, you and me in private. Let me know when you are in the camp.
Just as he ordained.
Fate beckons me. Consider yourself spared.
You cannot trick death. It will
Let's
claim me
seize
one
the
day.
opportunity.
I sense something nearby.
to eradicate thy enemies.
Step aside. The navigator is coming. If I may? How dare you! Isn't this a job for the serfs?
I understand your intent. You cannot force me, Elantak. I hear you moving. No more.
A dance of blades and shadows, as honor ordains. Trust me. I shall not fail. Trust me. Killing brings me no pleasure.
Powers
Watch your
unseen
steps.
uncover my
None are
path.
better at searching.
The Vizier. Would he be proud? Am I? I do what I must.
I have learned much in my exile.
Over.
The tall being in a fine long garment turns to you, the face hidden behind the blank visor of the helmet. When they begin to speak, even from a distance you feel the air around the figure grow cold. Monkey, you should not be here. Yelet strides forward, her eyes flashing. Muran, I'm calling you to the account. You said the great danger threatening Lithian lurked in the hearts of the monkeys, in their greed and ignorance. And all the while another enemy was looming over the world, an enemy whose tracks you should have seen in things to come. Scylla Thresh, she who thirsts, is threatening this world, and you hid it from us. Answer me, did you or did you not behold our greatest foe in Lithian's future? Did you lie to me? After Yeliad's words, the two tall Alderi behind Muran start moving. One looks around at the leader, while the other lets out a cry, muffled under his visor. The rebel beside you cringes, as though the Alderi speech causes his pain. He strains to say something, but Muaran makes an imperious gesture, and the soldier meekly straightens up and salutes, staring at the Xenos with slavish devotion. The robed figure inclines their heads, and then they begin to speak. Yet, the outcasts! You left the path that was set out for you. You brought a known monkey to our refuge, and now you speak to me with unseemly anger. Your long wanderings far from Krudach have altered your mind and tainted your sight. My wanderings are the path I have chosen for myself. Far from the walls of Cruda, I have seen and come to know things that no other Alderi could hidden away in the craft world their entire life. Why do you deny my words about Silas Thresh? It is because you were lying to me and my kin when you showed us the true path. This Elanta was the first person to discover the comings of Silent Thresh, one of those whom the monkey call Chaos Gods. Without him, I would still be deceived by your words about destiny and the true future. Monkey revealing paths, it's ludicrous. Monkey bearing pain and strife in our time, and for all time. How can you trust a monkey after what we taught you, after hearing the sorrowful song of the dying world? Moran gently says towards you. There was no chance that brought Cruda down. Monkey destroyed our ancient home, stripped us of our defenses, doomed us to wander amidst the cold stars. The colours of the Xenas are painful to behold, but there is just as pain in their hearts. Or could it be fear, despair? I cannot tell. The hues are too strange, too. Cassia flinches, a trickle of the blood runs down her cheek. Watch your tone, Xenos. I'm doing you a favour just by listening to your vile words. Rest assured, the very sound of your primitive tongue causes us much suffering. Even a translator cannot alleviate its crudeness. You are playing with words and avoiding the question. Notes of desperation and rage are creeping into Yarli's voice now. The Lilathan is under threat from the eternal foes, and yet you've come concerned about the presence of the Elantach, that's the corruption that is flowing through the veins of this world. Did you never consider that your war might simply be Hastings' Silaresh's triumph? Perhaps the ruler's servants, in their efforts to protect her, will resort to more and more instruments of corruption. Moran leans down over Yirliet, his tone menacing. You left Cruda in our darkness hour to gratify your ego. You came to us on the Litalan, and I accepted you as one of your own. I gave you a real purpose, Irliet, the outcast, and you dare to insult me, a Farseer? It was a mistake to let you into our circle. You have turned our efforts to survive into dust with your own hands. I am a child of Assyrian Moran, not a plaything in the cold hands of fate, which you claim speaks through your mouth. My choice of path is no worse than yours or any other Alderi's, and my path calls me to fight our true enemies, not eradicate the monkey. If it comes to it, I will stand with them, for this Elnach can see what you are blind to, Farseer. Irliet's eyes are light with fury. She pointlessly lays her hands on the weapon, looking away from Farseer. Let's cool our tempers for a minute. Yirlet, the outcast, is beholden to her emotion as you monkey are. Isn't that why she abandoned her true path, and after years of wandering, her Assyrian blood has run dry and became more like yours? Speak then, if you have something to say. What have you done to these people? They believe you are the commanders. The monkey believe they are serving fellow members of the tribe, the wise and noble chiefs. My gift is potent enough to ensure that the monkey hiding in these forests see us as humans rather than children of Azurian, and see your primitive structures rather than the traces of our kind. Do you not see, Irliet? Every breath your kinsman takes is riddled with corruption. He restores to lies, obfuscations, and accusation, all to save his rotten little soul. Kill him! You want to save Leviathan, don't you? Yelet stands frozen like a statue and then suddenly turns to face Moran. The Elnak is right. I mistook the wicked intent in your heart for stubbornness and vanity, but no Farseer would ignore the threat from Salathresh, knowing what it means for the world and its souls. No, there can be only one answer. You have betrayed us, Moran. You have joined her side. Moran's voice rumbles like a distant storm. You dare to accuse me of such things? You have lost your mind, outcast. Stop treating my path as if it were a curse. Yeliet's voice rings out and barely supported rage draws in her eyes. My path is not a mark of disgrace. It was what saved me from dying along with Krudath, a death it was doomed to suffer by your empty predictions. You foolish wretch, you have exceeded my patience. Your path ends here and now.
The absurdity of your struggle amuses me.
Oh, please, you try!
I'm not accustomed. Try to die with grace, at least. Isn't this a job for the servants? If I may.
If it serves your cause. This tedium is beneath me.
Isha, heal my wounds.
I feel nothing. Fear nothing. I bring mercy and retribution, as honor ordains.
You pay dear for your actions.
My blade whispers your name, as the tenets demand, as honor ordains.
I'm not so sure. Ah! Anything else?
Out of my way. Let's get to it.
I'm in, maggot. Will do. Be gone. But of course.
Advancing. The order is contrary to dogmatic protocols. Request approved. Running binary code line.
Here we go. Let's make it quick.
Scared yet?
Be careful not to cross my gaze. I am a navigator. I'm not accustomed to another fur painted black. I'm afraid not. If only that were possible.
That is beneath me. If I must.
Death is a blessing.
Hold on.
Anything else, farewell.
Amidst the carnage, I find purpose. One step. I will triumph.
Fate shapes my actions. She did always want to be a martyr.
Let's get to it. Out of my way.
Blood-soaked tribute.
Battlefields are always drowned in scarlet. Me, as duty demands. If I may,
My path will end here.
I understand your intent. If it serves your cause. I am not your Xenos pet monkey. I deal death with my hands.
What an unfortunate turn of fate.
Yet it surveys the field of battle. May the gods guard us against the pride of wandering in the vagaries of fate. You dispatch the enemies of humanity admirably. You make an excellent suction, Xenos. He'll yet reward you with contemptuous looks. Mauran was right above one thing. Your primitive consciousness prevents you from seeing anything that does not lie on the surface. My actions were not done out of desire to gratify you. Should you grow tired of this Xenos domain, I could take her thin bones and temple to the Bloodspawn web. They will serve as dust beneath the feet of the righteous. Perhaps Kruda's demise filled Muaran with so much sorrow that I poised his mind. Or perhaps it was hatred for the Monkey who desecrated the face of the Lithan that plunged his mind into darkness. Or perhaps Sile Thresh herself was toying with Farseer who had fought himself amidst her poisoned gardens. Yellet begins speaking more quietly, though harshness breaks through her voice at times. I will never learn to answer to this question, but perhaps if I uncover the secrets of Kruda's demise, I might be able to lift the veil even a little on all this mystery. There is nothing more to be done here. It's time to return to the shuttle. Yellet gives you a long studying look. Wait, Elentach. Before you leave this forest forever, take me with you. To the distant suns. The tale of the children of Asurian on the Lithanen is coming to an end. But somewhere out there among the cold stars of the cosmos that your kind calls the Expanse, there are others, deprived of home, lost, suffering. Yellet shuts her eyes and grief twists her finely sculpted features. We can help one another, Elenath. You will be my wings, and I your wounding spear, and your voice of reason should you encounter my kin. If that is still not enough, Yellet thinks for a moment and continues carefully. I promise you a wondrous reward, Elenath, the treasure of my world hidden in the vastness of space in exchange for the rescue of my kin. If you remain true to your word and do not go back on your covenant. You do not like boldness. Even your request is worded not as a plea but as a treaty. But I like it, so we have a deal. Yellet looks at you, tilting her head slightly. Do not forget that the Lithanen still needs help. Vistenza Wyatt must be slain so that the maiden world can live. And remember your promise, Elenath. When we leave the Lilinath, it will be to go to the distant stars. Muaran saw them in his vision, and they sang mournful songs about the fate of my people, and I will fight beside you until the songs of the stars turns into a funeral lament.
Did you want something?
Too hard for a simple monkey.
The world will bow. Failure stings. Ah, a bitter taste of defeat. Perfection. The world trembles beneath my feet. Intriguing.
The door guards bow obsequiously. Lord von Valencius, we are most delighted to welcome you as our guest. Would your lordship prefer to speak to the governor alone or the entourage? Alone. Your lordship has designed to pay me a visit. To what do I owe your pleasure? You neglected to mention the strange changes to the planet's flora and fauna. Magos Vin Zalex is a very wise man, but his fixation on evolutionary processes seem a little extreme to me. Janus was heavily cultivated, forests were cleared, and mountains raised across half of the planet. It is no surprise that we are still noticing the consequences of those changes. It is possible that the planet mutations are connected to waste runoff from the harvesting equipment, and the changes in wildlife's behavior could be a reaction to the expansion of the cultivated area. Vistenza shake her head with a laugh. Are you surprised by my knowledge of the topic? Our whole dynasty has dedicated itself to taming Janus, this plentiful yet stubborn planet. Every member of the Viad Bloodborne is versed in fundamental of planetary engineering and its consequences. Rumors have reached me about oddities among Janus' population. I don't deny it, some of our experiments exact a higher toll on a population than others. You see, recently one of the noble families of Janus has taken on a difficult task of enhancing the attributes of our workers. So far, it has involved introducing experimental supplements to their food and mental conditioning in monitored settlements. Sometimes procedures are disturbed and part of the population suffer from side effects. The specialists of the Grant's family would be a better place to inform you of this topic, but alas, they are currently engaged in the field. You are forcing settlements to pay the tithe in human bodies. What? Really? Nerov Vokshi speaks as if you actually believe the claims of those wretched peasants. I do not ask anyone to pay the tithes in human bodies. I am reducing the burden on the settlement which have suffered as a result of unsuccessful experiments involving enriched food, and I am gathering the worst affected subjects, those who are no longer capable of work, for further study. Some among my circle would call such concern for the underclass a weakness which may have insinuated rebellion among the unborn rabble. I found the rebel nest, Vicenza. Have you really, your lordship? And what have you learned? Let's not waste time on meaningless chatter, Vicenza. You are the servant of the arch-enemy. Vicenza gasped in astonishment. What? No! It is beneath the dignity of the governor to squirm so pathetically, Vicenza. Vicenza clenches her teeth so hard you hear a crack. I, daughter of House Viad, governor of Janus and citizen of the Imperium, serve no one other than the Emperor and the von Valensiv dynasty. And what are you accusing me of is merely a tool at my disposal, a tool that I have the power and courage to use. Do you think ordinary methods would have been enough to tame this damned planet? No. My family suggested for decades to subdue Janus once and for all, and all it was all in vain. But your servants, these families who have raised on Janus for centuries, helped me to unlock a new source of power. Ancient knowledge, secrecy passed down from generation to generation, accessible to select few, and with grand power over nature itself. How could I reject it? How could I undo all the work from my predecessors who were entrusted with Janus, who faithfully served the von Valensiv dynasty, and who, with madman obsessiveness, hewed the rock into stunning diamond? 2 days spent among the initiated was enough for me to start hearing devoted, turning her life to Janus into the primary source of wealth in your protectorate. Remember to whom your predecessor entrusted one of her most valuable worlds without fear of treachery or conspiracy. Without me, without my service, my sacrifice, Janus would be nothing. I have heard enough. Continue on as you have been, Vicenza. Let the powers under your control benefit the von Valensiv dynasty. Vicenza bent in a deep courtesy. I knew you were a man of reason, one who values loyal subjects. Long live the alliance of Viat and von Valencius. Let's move on to business now. As you wish, your lordship. I am loath to mention it, but I am still under arrest, your lordship, and I will hardly be able to fulfill my duties under such condition. I propose that first and foremost you deliver your final judgment on the degree of which I have wronged you and the manner of punishment. Triple tides to make up for your lost profits. That would be enough. I will see that this is done, your lordship, but I must warn you that a burden of that magnitude will bleed Janus dry. I hope you will soon trade your fury for mercy. Excellent. Let's not waste any more time. We should discuss what Janus can offer now that the problem with the rebels has been resolved. I will issue all necessary instructions for the preparation of supplies. You will receive reports of the first results in the near future in Earthvox. Footfall Station is on the verge of starvation. Can Janus supply the people there with provisions? Yes and no, your lordship. If the question is, can such an expansive and fertile world as this one feed few thousand void rats? Of course it can. We lose more provision on known pests every cycle than those on Footfall could eat in their entire lives. But can the ship set provision to Footfall? Not a chance. Any cargo shuttle that leaves the surface will be targeted for attack. The rebels will not hesitate to bring down sending flames debris over the capital. Our silos, blah 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 blah. I think I've been to this.
Let's seize the opportunity. We now have control over the granaries of Janus. The promise to help given to the liege of Footfall Vlad and Tokara can be fulfilled should the rogue trader so desired. Allow the servants of the archenemy to prepare the special cargo for the defiling. Allow the servants of the archenemy to prepare the special cargo for the defiling of Footfall. Covenant visions Weyard Circle have embraced the cause with favor. It will not be long before the shipment of contaminated provisions sparks special reverence among Footfall residents towards the high-born benefactor. To welcome the new rock trader, the Adeptus Mechanicus planetary office brought the ship an offering of several macro combines, ancient machine whose carcasses had been found on Janus and carefully restored. The sacred steel titans will serve as von Valensiv dynasty.
The tranquility of the warp jump was disturbed by reports of frightening sounds and visions that descended upon the crew. Hundreds of people reported knocking and screaming behind the bulkheads of the void vessel, the sound of nails scratching against the hull and the elongated Alderia-like shadows tarnishing about the long passageway. The phenomena were most prominent in the far corners of the officer deck, where the new Lord Captain companion named Yoreli had made her home. The ship left the hostile Immaterium and returned to space. My apologies to Captain. The enforcers report that your pet Alderi is foul-mood and is moving towards the Captain Bridge. We didn't dare to stop her, but I expect you have a difficult conversation ahead of you.
Please spare me a brief moment of your time, Elantak. Azurion knows that I do not care about the curious glances of Monkey. I grew inured to them back in the blossoming gardens of the Lilithon. They curse me from afar. They follow my every move. They ward themselves against me. Let them. After all, what can be done with such weak-minded, primitive creatures? And still, one monkey stunt has caused the cup of my patience to spill over. She dared to approach me, to speak to me, and touching my hand, she suggested that we withdraw somewhere private. She wanted Morag. The mere memory of it stirs up a tempest in my soul.
My people behave contemptibly and apologize for it.
I accept your words, Elantak. And still, try to imagine, Elantak, being lusted after by a wild beast. It is foul, disgusting, so vile that it makes your very soul shudder. No. Your kind, simple souls and narrow minds are the root of all these flaws. Narrow minds and simple souls. Every day, I feel as if I am caught in a trap, surrounded by a pack of wild animals. I am prepared to pay this price to find my kin, but everything has its limit. I have walked the path of awakening, Elantak, and learned to see that which is hidden, and hear that which is unspoken. When I found myself on the Lilithon, I watched your kind long enough to understand the true nature of Monkey. I do not think you can tell me anything I do not already know. Nevertheless, I will not protest. Conversations with you are the only thing on this ship that can ease my solitude. Had any of them wished to understand my nature, they would have already run away in fear from one who walks the path of the outcast. But they are just trying to provoke me, hurt me, No. Monkey are driven by their instincts. To survive, to breed, to ensure the preservation of their species and the annihilation of those who threaten them. It is neither good nor bad. It simply is. It was emotions that once brought down my kind, Elantak, toppling us from our pedestal as rulers of the galaxy. Indulging your weaknesses or whims does not make your species any more attractive. Elantak, please understand that I do not find Monkey attractive. The mere thought of being intimate with one of your kind. Our conversation has only proved my point, Elantak, that Monkey and the children of Azurian are as different as night and day. Eldari do not simply see the world differently. They see more than any monkey can ever comprehend. What do I see? Your words ring with the desire to know the soul of another. But will you be able to comprehend my answer? I will need time to put the entire truth of this world into the meager language to which your ears are accustomed. When I find my answer, I will pay you a visit.
Oh, Captain, I keep receiving reports about malfunctions among the various ship system. This time we are dealing with the inexplicable temperature fluctuation. Thermal controls failures were observed not only in individual compartments, but even in the soldiers' protective equipment. Several crew members have suffered from burns and frostbite. The tech priests are performing the rites of the machine spirit pacification and remain convinced that the issue were caused by spirits' obstinacy and defiance. The reports claim that the incidents remain well within the scope of expected performance parameters. Over the last few days, complaints about the malfunction in thermal controls have dwindled, but the crew members have started whispering that our vessel is haunted. The tech priest assurances that only the machine spirit's tempers are blame are going nothing to dissolute this ridiculous rumor. Cyberbrack, how could this have happened? An assassination attempt upon the rogue trader in his own chambers, right under the noses of your forces? A fierce growl rumbles deep in Abelard's throat. The Master at Arms radiates grim fury. Her eyes are dark, her lips pursed. With a practiced hand, she removes the mouth from her belt and offers it to you. And I forgive her error. I accept full responsibility and ask you to punishment. Cyberbrack clenches her teeth through every one of your blows. Not a single sound escapes her throat, not even when the mole steals her break her nose and spills open her lip. After you finish, she receives her weapon and back and bows, all the while maintaining the same impeccable bearing. Thank you, Lord Captain. Requesting permission to report. All adjacent decks have been isolated. We have begun our search for the culprit and have set up investigation headquarters on the officer's deck. The substance has been analyzed and confirmed to be blood containing traces of major mutations. While it possesses no risk of infection to your lordship, the very presence of such genetic aberration on board is a serious threat to the safety of the ship and must be addressed promptly. Once word of this gets out, many among the crews will surely see it as a brazen challenge to your status and as a rogue trader. What genetic aberrations? The heresy of mutations. Mutants are vicious beasts who sow only ruin and death. They are devoid of all humanity and devour blood and runs through the veins, feeds their unclean thoughts and urges. Numerous accounts speak of entire colonies falling prey to bloody uprisings staged by these creatures, all because their governors were too squeamish to order genetic purges. You don't say. I wonder why somebody we don't consider human and exterminate by the thousand would think to revolt. What a crazy mystery.
Alas, the Imperial enemies are not limited only to those outside its borders. Mutants can become a considerable threat, especially when given the chance to organize. The heretics have revealed themselves and eager to fight. Then fight we shall. Let the vessel be purged of all filth. Could this be assassination attempt? They would then they would have filled the bath with acid or poison instead. There are easiest ways to kill someone than drowning them in blood, as foul as that blood may be. Cassie shuddered. I beg to differ. Were something of this sort happened to me, my heart would surely stop. What is intended to do next? As one, every enforcer present gets to their knees. Lord Captain, this incident has cast a shadow on our honor. We only ask for one thing, a chance to absolve ourselves of our guilt. Allow me to head to the officer's decks at once so I lead the investigation personally. Lord Captain, on a previous occasion I was your intervention to resolve the matter that my own rigidity had only succeeded in making worse. With all due respect to Mr. Sauerbrack, perhaps she would benefit from a fresh perspective. Seneschal, do you think so little of me that you would rob me of a chance to defend my honor? I'm curious to see the Master at Arms in action. I will preside over the investigation. Of course, Lord Captain. I will arrange for the area befitting your status to be prepared on the officer's decks immediately. Lord Captain, the world of Faustin has been upset by conflict between the followers of the Order of Hammer and the refugees from the Winterscale dynasty domain. An argument broke out near the tomb of the renewed holy man Nikom Kafi, and the tomb was damaged in the fray. The pilgrims revering Kifi rival Philopomenes of Malpi claims Kifi to be thief who stole the relics of Saint Contagious and violated the sacred mystery of the resting place of to sate his greed. An Order of the Hammer is furious at the heretical statement and the desecration of Kifi burial site.
Who is this Nicomalis and Philomenius? What is the issue here? Sen Nicomedes Cafe is a missionary who arrived and expands alongside the founders of the Order of the Hammer, offering them valuable guidance for colonization Foulstone. He converted many worlds to the Imperial Creed, but his most famous feat was his search for the burial site of the legendary preacher, Saint Cognatus, who conquered the Expanse thousands of years ago, leaving behind scores of relics. Keefe was able to track down some of those relics. The order was named after the power hammer of Saint Cognatus' piety charge. Philomenes of Malpi is a priest from Winterscale realm. He preached in the same times of Nicomedes Keefe and denounced him for the false veneration of Saint Cognatus. He believes that Cognatus preached the incomprehensibility of the highest wisdom to the people, and that any attempts to learn it would only lead to heresy. He called the search for Saint Cognatus' burial site blasphemy and the collection of relics looting and soliciting. In his opinion, the sacred object should not be congregated in one place, but should find heaven across the many worlds. The relics are power, and the aggregation gives way to pride. What's Emma advises? For a group that just arrived in a foreign realm, the Malpians conduct insolent at best. Penance should be imposed on them. We'll send them to a pilgrimage to find the relics of Saint Ignatius and to learn the ways of Saint Cafe. In this way, we would be able to use for returning the lost relics, and the Order of Hammer would be satisfied with just verdict. There was a similar theological dispute at the Fifth Ophelian Council, and the conflict between the two cultists was resolved in a sacred duel. 20 champions from each side came forward, both sides vowing to accept the victor's teachings if they lost. I postponed to invoke the council edict and settle the dispute in the same way. They believe that their faith is superior, then let them prove it. Subject them to a severe test of faith. If they survive it, they will have proven their steadfastness. If the Order of the Hammer does not accept their arguments, it will be easier for them to recognize the newcomers, right to interpret the way of Saint Cognatus if they prove it with their own blood and pain. The Malpians have renounced the concept of possession. The vows are true and similar to ours, but lack humility and reverence for the deed. The Bloodspawn web could embrace the leaders, we could teach them, we could soothe the turmoil. We shall allow Malfians to prove the strength of the conviction through a severe trial of faith. Let them show the weight of the words and teaching. 100 Malfians has volunteered to undergo the trial of faith. 62 have survived, proving the steadfastness of their beliefs and earning the respect of the Order of the Hammer. The indomitable teaching of Murphy laid down deep roots upon the hard soil of Foulstone. The followers of this teaching were zealous and determined.
Apologies for disturbing you, Lord Captain. I just thought you should know. Lady Navigator has successfully guided the ship out of the warp hold and left the Sanctum Navis, but instead of going to her chambers as usual, she headed to yours. Perhaps she'll want to prepare for the meeting. Greetings, Captain. I meant to inform you that our journey through the warp went well. My navigator's gaze perceived the light of the astronomical beyond the tremulous wave of Sea of Soul, albeit with some difficulty. The crew and the master helmsman conducted themselves adequately. My instructions during the jump helped them find their focus and guide the ship without any serious incidents. Cassie's expression changes softly and she gives a reserved nod. It pleases me to hear this, Lord Captain. I'm equally satisfied with your manner of command. Fidgeting awkwardly, Cassie glances around the study. I see you have many compelling works of art here, and precious few paintings. I, for one, do enjoy passing what little spare time I have with a brush in hand. Why, just recently I created a beautiful voidscape inspired by the travels together. I cannot show it to you quite yet, and it still only exists in my mind eye, or the imaginary, or it's only you could see it. Cassia cocks her head in surprise. Do you truly wish that you would? But I must admit, I'm nothing more than an amateur. You will have to forgive me, Lord Captain, but I do not think that this is such a good idea. These chambers are indeed of masterpiece, while I paint mere for my own pleasure. A figurative smile speaks louder than her polite refusal. One other thing I meant to tell you is that I am quite well read, and that my knowledge is not limited to navigator's craft. I am versed in many other scholarly fields, such as the centenary history of the Keliak sector, or Kasia shrugged awkwardly. Navigators are taught to familiarize themselves with a warp from childhood. Should you require my help, that is to say, my counsel, my knowledge is extensive, so please do not hesitate to ask. She fiddles with a lock of her hair while still proudly holding her chin high and avoiding the gaze at the same time. You are too kind, Lord Captain. Cassia looks away, but before she does, you catch a strange, fleeing expression on her face. Could it be joy? I apologize. I must be distracting you from important matters. With this, please permit me to leave your presence, Lord Captain. Cassia gives you a courteous nod, gracefully picks up the cloak and takes leave. Your Lordship, there are alarming reports coming from Janus. A member of a strange mutation have been spotted among the population in remote agri-complex. Aside from the obvious disfigurement and the subsequent estrangement, these mutants, called wretches by the rest of the colonies, are coming together to practice primitive form of religion involving ritual worship of the land. While they display no disobedience or hostility, their very existence is concerning. Governor Viyat suggested the mutation may have been caused by one of her genetic experiments aimed to improve the working populace. She notes the docility of the specimen and asks not to treat them as abominations that would otherwise be purged. The Janus nobility humbly await your decision. What do we know about them? The mutations cause the loss of skin pigment and the shedding of hair. Some have started developing a translucent third eye similar to that of reptiles. Others have succumbed to progressive atrophy of their larynx, caused the loss of human speech. At the same time, the tendons becomes denser and more elastic, providing increased endurance and load resistance. The wretches are commonly ostracized due to their grotesque appearance. There have been too many cases to mob justice yet, but they will become commonplace after the mutation deformities becomes more obvious. The wretches tend to form groups with similarly afflicted people. The average level of intellect is low. They all belong to the labor caste and communicating among themselves using a primitive vernacular of their own invention. As for the barbaric religion, they are defying both the soil and Janus itself. To them, walking in agri-complex is a form of a worship, which has had positive impact on productivity. What do you advise? I saw your agent picked recordings, the sign these monkeys leave behind their idols, and I cannot deny a connection, though a pathetic and extremely abstract one too, the symbols of my people. The guttural prayers echo the sounds of the children of Assyrian speech. The probability of them having come into such close contact with our civilization is non-existent. Yet they are still somehow connected. Protect those people, resettle them to distant abodes, and they will not be harmed for their peculiarities. And keep watch, someday the truth may be revealed. The blessed sanction of the Imperium does not graze these mutants, but nor does it declare their existence anathema. Should we censor them without further study? There are mutants whose existence is fully sanctioned, such as Ogrins, Ratlings, Pariah, Pelages, Fedlings, and Trons. Our library had many treatises on the generator's craft, and I could impact some of that knowledge on your servants, purely theoretical of course. This mutants has not been properly studied and is missing from the catalogue. I am not registered, a basis of delaying the commencement of immediate genetic purification. I recommend launching a thorough investigation into genetic makeup of this forbidden strain. Present the wretches into separate agri-complexes where the crowds will not tear them apart. We'll study them. I feel some monkeys have been touched by something wondrous. The mutants were settled to distant agri-complexes where their unorthodox appearance will not put them in danger of being massacred by serfs. The mutants were put under surveillance. One of the watchmen spotted a mysterious relic in the hands of the group of wretches and turned out to be an item of Xeno origin. It is unlikely the mutation understand the nature of the object they worshipped.
bow.
Former entrance to Q3 is when it's on Journey 2. Is the quarantine zone safe now? Well, that depends. We figure everyone who could have died is already dead and rotting. A disease and parasites don't usually live in corpses. We threw a few expendables in the quarantine zone and we can say for sure that it was those that killed them in the end, not disease.
Your struggles are in vain.
Crush him!
I have read tomes of military tactics. Me? I'm not accustomed to being ordered around.
Let's get to it. Stop trying, monkey. If it serves your cause, another soul slips beyond the veil. Show me what you've got!
Let's get to it!
Let's get to it!
Here we go.
Time to slaughter someone!
The Omnissiah knows all, comprehends all. Running binary functions successfully terminated.
Death comes in silence. The shadows will see it done. As honor ordains. I shall not come. The other side awaits.
Purpose gut. What a satisfying demise.
Step aside. The navigator is coming. Me?
Aim for the heart next time.
I am not afraid to embrace the revelations that make others shriek and cover. That is the difference between me and ignorant filth. I tread a path unexplored.
Operation successful.
Stop! There!
The world trembles beneath my feet. Empyrean guides my gaze.
I'm still new to the art of exploring.
Let's seize the opportunity.
Just as I was taught.
Intriguing. Predictable.
My success is an irrefutable certainty.
The web serves. Follow the threads.
The world will bow.
You are in the presence of House Orselio.
The absurdity of your struggle amuses me.
Isn't this a job for the... Me? Witness the fury of House Orselio.
Ruin back death shall reign. guides me. I need no guidance.
This tedium is beneath me. Deal death with my hands.
I'll do what it takes.
Don't touch me.
Request approved. Explorers know one route. Forward. Running by Derek override. The old Messiah knows all, comprehends all. My vow is to see the Messiah condemns you.
Will do.
Of mind, oblivion will be a blessing.
Emperor, give me strength. Die with grace, at least. If I may, face the Navigator's might. I am a navigator, not a servitor.
Purpose guides me. One step closer. I will triumph. I need no guidance.
I move swiftly to strike. I am not your Xenos pet, monkey. If it serves your cause. I understand your intent. You cannot force me, Elantak. If I must.
Emperor, protect me.
I can handle this.
Trust me. As honor or death.
High momentum.
But of course. I cannot serve you in this way.
On it.
Be careful not to cross my gaze. Another third painted black. Deliver us! I'm not accustomed to being ordered around.
I will triumph. Ruin beckons, blood-soaked tribute.
I will not. If it serves your cause. Another soul slips beyond the veil. Swift and silent. My reckoning will be swift. I am not your Xenos pet, monkey, if it serves your cause. I am not your secret.
Flesh is weak, yet iron knows no pain. The Omnissiah knows all, comprehends all. My vow is to serve.
I am your blade and shield. As the tenets demand. As honor, death is a blessing. I shall not fail. It brings me no pleasure.
How dare you! I did it?
others unseen uncover my path.
The machine god grants me insight.
I tread a path unexplored. Triumphant, as always. The world trembles beneath my feet.
This explorator is blessed with multifunctionality.
While you pressing the keys, the cogitator appears dormant, but as you enter the last letter of the second world, it suddenly comes to life. Triumphant music pulls out of it, followed by a voice. A man's voice, pleasant with a Triumphant music pulls out of it, followed by a voice. A man's greetings. Greetings to you, Keen Wardener, who found my message and solved my riddle. I, Presimus Daewain, Master of Footfall, Trouble-Eyes of the Expanse, am pleased to welcome visitors to my magnificent place in the stars. Footfall is my great creation. It is what marked the beginning of the Imperium Triumphant March into Coroner's Expanse. You are here because you managed to discover the message in the Almanac of Footfall published on my orders and find the caches I had installed at selected sites. You have seen the view from the dome of the Great Cathedral, the void-piercing arches of the Providence Bridge, the start-cold gaze through the windows of Small Quay. Only thus, step by step, can one experience the scale and the elegance of my creation. Footfall sites are their own rewards. However, I have prepared a gift for those who might unravel my riddle. Approach my statue, for the gift awaits you in here. Remember, nothing may stand between you and your design, no matter how audacious and grand it may be. The voice quiets. You hear a click from the statue of Footfall founder, as if something in the lock mechanism has been released.